G'day, welcome back. I'd especially like to welcome my new subscribers, and I hope you enjoy the content of my channel. If you missed part 2 of the little milling pallet, there's a link up there now. Go and watch that first, then come back and watch this one. Alright, so let's not dilly-dally around. Follow me over to the mill, and I'll show you what I get up to this time. Over there. Alrighty, so I mentioned at the start of the milling pallet video that I was thinking about making a tailstock when I use this. This is the original little tailstock I had on the lathe when I first bought it. Pretty useless bloody thing really. So I think I'll use that. And this is the, they showed you in another video, the piece off that original milling pallet casting, which is not much chop. I was thinking I might use that. Or I might decide to use this lump of steel or something like that instead, just so it's a bit more rigid. And then make a casting up to sit on top of either this or the bit of steel and mill a hole through it and basically do what I've done here but make it a bit wider so it's more rigid this way. So that's what I'll do. So one of the first things I'll have to do, I'll make up my mind using this or this, and then work out how high the casting needs to be to make something to put in there. And if you wonder why the vise is still there, I'm just a lazy bastard and I couldn't be bothered removing it, considering I need to use it next. Alrighty, so I've decided to run with that lump of steel and use a piece of that. So I've cleaned all the daggy welds and stuff up off the edge of it and chopped the piece off. So let's get in and machine it up. Bit of a bugger about having to do a second pass on that. I often wonder, do people go, why do I use fly cutters all the time? You just can't get finishes like that from bloody end mill. So I like to use the fly cutter because it just gives me, like, that's a mirror finish. It's beautiful. Look at it. Look. See my fingers in it. Beautiful. Alright, so I'll deburr that and swap it around. Do the other end, my other side. Well, 3 passes hasn't quite cleaned that up, but there's a dag there and a bit up this end here, but hey, it's a piece of scrap binium, what can you expect? And I don't really want to take any more off it, so I'll leave it at that, and I'll go get a couple of parallels out of the drawer and we'll set it up, do these sides. Back in a minute. Oh, that'll do for a clean-up pass, I think. Let's see what we got. This edge here had a dirty great big weld along both sides of it on this edge. So it might take a little bit of cleaning up, but anyway, we'll have a look and see. Well, once again, 3 passes hasn't completely cleaned that up, but I don't think it'll affect it any. I don't want to take any more off. I'll look at when I've done the other side and think, well, maybe I'll just use the worst side on the bottom where you can't see it. So I'll flip that over and we'll do the other side. Well, you can definitely see where this thing was welded all down this edge here. It stands out like bloody dog's testicles. Anyway, I'll get that out of there and clean it up, machine the ends, but I won't bore you with that bit. Considering it looked like this, you know, well, worse than that because it had big welds and stuff up the edges here. It looks pretty good now. A couple of little blemishes in it here and there. Mainly from around where it was welded up the edge here, but that's not going to affect it any, so I'm pretty happy with that. Not bad for a homemade mill, is it? I'm really happy with that. I did, while you went look and change the tip because the finish on that side wasn't brilliant, so I swapped just turned the tip around, better finish. Next cab off the rank will be make the casting up, sit on the top of it and hold that little tailstock thingy. Alrighty, so that's had about 30 or 35 minutes since I poured that. If you wonder about this little can over the back here, that was just so if I had any left over I could pour it in there. Winner winner, chicken dinner. That's bloody fantabulous, that is. Alrighty, so I'll finish letting that cool down. It's nearly lunchtime now. I wanted to pour this earlier this morning, but just when I was getting ready to come out here and do it, it started raining, so I had to wait till that stopped. But anyway, that's come out really nice. Alrighty, before I get started on machining it, I thought we'd check out what did I melt this morning. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who actually watched the DRO and lead screw setup, while you weren't looking, I made up a new cover for this one here, so that that handle will fit back over the top of it. Now, so what do we? What's this lump? This is probably one of the best castings I think I've ever made. Even though it's just a big rectangular lump, the overall finish and everything on it's pretty bloody good actually. I'm really impressed with that. I'm happy. What's it weigh? Holy hell, 665 grams. There's the bit that spilled out over the top of the can, so there's another, so that's 800. And what was in the can, so I melted nearly 1.1 kilos this morning. Anyway, so I'll get it all in here and start machining it up. Alrighty, so before I get on with this, what I want to do with this, I don't want to take too much off the thickness this way. I want to machine a little recess in this to sit this into and put two slots in it this way so that I can centre it properly on the top of the table. So we'll get on with machining this thing up. Well, I think you've probably had enough of watching me fly cut castings in recent times, so I'll bring you back when I've finished dressing all this thing up. Alrighty, so I've ended up with just a few little imperfections in it here and there, but I'm not going to chase them because it's just chasing tail. Sometimes it just makes it look worse and worse. One thing I didn't mention before was I want to slit this on an angle through here so that I can put a dovetail or something, on the side of it, so that I can make this height adjustable. So if when I bore it through here and mount it, if I don't get it 100% right, I can adjust it up and down finely. Well, I reckon that might do me for today. I'll come out and do some more tomorrow. Alrighty, so before I go much further, I have to figure a few things out. What I've done here is I've put a 1/2 inch transfer punch in here, and I've just sat this on top, scribed it so I can get some idea of where I'm at. Now that's the line I got when I scribed it. But I need to recess it into here a bit. So I had a bit of a look and thought, righto, how thick is the top of this thing? I might as well run with that. It's 12 millimeters, thereabouts. So, and this thing is 25 millimeters, thereabouts. So I came up from, worked my way up here to see what I had left over, and what I had left over was 6 millimeters. So there's more than enough room here. Like, it'll still be plenty thick enough when I get down to, if I take a 6 mil slot out of there, it's still plenty thick enough. So So I'll do that. So I marked the bottom up, come up 6mm from the bottom, moved everything else up 6mm. This point here will be the center of this, and it will be slit down to there, and then I can get bolt through here. I might even put, this thing's only got like 1 bolt in it, but just so I don't have to crank it up too much, I might even put 2 bolts in it. So I need to do all that because I've got to bore this hole through here before I cut it in half on an angle so that I can make it adjustable. So that'll be the next cab off the rank. Get that hole bored through there to fit this thing through it. Man, how easy does that half function on DROs make it for finding centre and things. Unbelievable. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you with all the drilling side of this. When I finish drilling it out, I'll get the boring head in there and we'll bore it out. Alrighty, so it's all drilled all the way through, and I've made one pass just to check everything out. And I've got about 1.5mm to come out of there according to the gasometer. So we'll get on with this. As you can see, there's not a lot of clearance left there. That's why I made a pass in the first place, to make sure I get all the way through. Absolutely don't want this to end up too big, so I'm going to check it after every pass. I'm not going to call that 24.4. Maybe we should get a little more precise. I'm that close. Alrighty, what does Mr. Micrometer say? We used to do that as a joke back when I was working. I'd ring someone and a woman would answer the phone and I'd say reception. So look at that. Exactly what my bloody gasometer said. 24.4. So we've got 0.37. Anyway, receptionist that answered the phone. I'd say, can I speak to so-and-so? And they say, can I say who's calling, please? I'd say, yes, my name's Mike Rometer. They nearly pissed myself laughing. Anyway, women never caught on to it. They didn't have a clue what Mike Rometer was. Alrighty, I'm going to get in the path of something that Matty from Matty's workshop does, although he has a bigger boring head and he can put a bar in here and mount his dial gauge here. But this is not big enough. So I'm just going to sit mine here on the table. For those of you who are new to the channel, this is a homemade boring head, so you know the markings on it may well be just a little dubious. Or dubious. Righto, got to come over here, 0.3. Actually, I might come over 0.2 and just see what it looks like after I've made a cut. Righto, that'll do me. We'll just make a small cut and check it with the vernier and just see. That's not bloody much under, is it? 500. Knock this tool out of here so I get a bit more height. Get it in there, yes I can. Oh, does this thing measure? Oh look, it's only like 2.5 hundredths. God. Oh, finger up a bum. You beauty. Should be able to clamp that up tight enough. A little tiny bit of movement in it, but we should be able to clamp that up. Alright, that's that part of it done. Alrighty, so after taking a bit of a look at this thing, I decided I settle on a 10-degree angle and marked it up, cut it off in the bandsaw. Not the straightest cut in the world. And it's probably just well I had 6mm for the bottom because I forgot about the saw cut, which is I think 1mm. This is pretty wonky, so I'm probably going to lose another millimetre, so I'll end up with maybe only 3.5 to 4mm in the bottom plate, but that's okay. Now I've clamped all these things up. I clamped this up in the vise first, this one, so I could get it set to 80 degrees and got it spot on, and then I clamped these two together this way and just sort of got them roughly level on the top, and then finished clamping these this way, and it's done as tight as I can possibly do it up. So I'm really hoping it won't move because I've got to take this one off. Alrighty, so here goes. How's that for centre? Too bad, I think we'll see. I'm going to check that. I'm a little worried that this whole thing moved because the amount it took off there was just, oh, that was amazing. Well, that's saying bloody 80.3 now, not 80. Let's go that way a bit. Actually, I suppose it doesn't really matter as long as they're both the bloody same, does it? And they're still lined up there. Well, I've still got a little bit here, but I want to put the male dovetail in this part. Actually, no, that's the top. That's where I want to put the female. Oh, shit, I'll have to take another pass. I don't really want to, but looks like I'm going to have to. There's still just a tiniest little bit there, but I'm not going to chase that. I'm going to keep taking more and more and more of it. It still looks pretty groovy. Alrighty, so that'll have to do me for today. The wife wants me to do some stuff for her, so I'll best go and do that and keep the peace. But anyway, that's that part of it done as well now. At this point in the video, I'd like to thank my patrons. Their continued support is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a patron, there's a link down in the description. You can sign up there and drop me a couple of dollars every month. If you don't want to be a regular contributor, there's always buy me a coffee. Now, let's get back to the build. Well, I don't know what the hell happened just then. I thought I'd turn the camera on to record and said, well, let's get on with this dovetail, and then I got to the end of it. Next I heard that the camera turned itself off. But anyway, I've made one 3mm pass. Now I'm going to make another 3mm deep pass. Right, if I have this right, that should be 18mm wide. Get in there. It's actually a little over, it's 18.3. It's 10.8. What the hell? And 11.4. What the hell's going on there? 10.8, 11.4. Now I'll take another 0.6 off that side. 10.7 at this end. 10.7. Alright, we'll settle on that. Now, problem is, that's only just a 19mm, and the dovetail cutter I want to use is a 20mm cutter, but it doesn't matter, I'll just feed it over here and so it's not touching the other side when I make my first pass. But I'll get all that out of there in the dovetail cutter and I'll bring you back. Alrighty, so I've pulled it over this side, it's doing a 1mm depth of cut, so it really shouldn't touch that side. We'll find out in a second. Well, it wouldn't have touched that side if I'd moved the table in the right direction, but it cleared this side, so that's all that really mattered. But I will go another 1mm cut. It's hopping around a bit, this thing, but anyway, could probably go deep in a 1mm cut in this aluminium, but anyway, I don't want to rip things out of this. That last climb cut was just at a higher revs to clean the face up. Didn't like it. That looks really nice in there now. I don't want to go any deeper because I don't want to weaken it. Well, I want to make it sit through this side, so when I finish this side I'll come back to you. Alrighty, what do we end up with? This one is, I measured the measurements at 14.8, and this one is 14.8. Just check it with the mic. Hey. 14.5994. Yeah, bang on. They're both the same. They're within about half a hundredth or something, so that's cool. Alrighty, so I mentioned in a text comment a little earlier in the video, I kind of cocked up in that I hadn't thought of the height I'm going to lose from this dovetail, and I kept thinking, Jesus, am I going to have to just bolt that straight to the top of that other plate? But I have a plan, Stan. But unfortunately, you're going to have to wait till next week to find out what that is, because we've kind of run out of time again. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching me do that. You may have got something from it, and if you did, don't forget to smash that like button, because it helps me out a bit. Alright, once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Bye bye.